Okay, welcome back to members of 121 Community Church in Grapevine, Texas, and our ongoing study in The Meaning of God and Human Experience by W.E. Hocking, published in 1912. We're going to take a look at chapters 7 and 8, pages 77 through 100, and it's going to take a look at the idea of meaning and the idea of identity in the midst of our ministry and our self-knowledge. Let's take a look at block 1. We'll take a look at the idea and the inclusive constant identity. And Hocking tells us that ideas of feeling communicate themselves as eidos ideas. But we must be as objective as possible when communicating our eidos ideas, and that is what he calls the rule of first intention. It's our prophetic communication. Remember that realm of positing is the realm of what? Prophetic communication. We want to communicate our sign model, which is the supersensible part of reality. We want to communicate and posit our idea model, our sign model, that is the supersensible part of reality. So if we take a look at note 2, prophetic communication, Hocking tells us that idea is always notion combined with object. And the order of objects are as follows: objects of finitude, objects of the infinite, and objects of consciousness, which is that known content destined to do the work of religion. It's that known content in the realm of positing. We communicate these objects as signs of value in our sign model. We make them units of exchange that we posit. And then through positing, it enters into that enclosed circle of content. It enters into that enclosed circle of content, that dialectical circle of content. So in conclusion, note 3, the rule of first intention and prophetic communication equals value as a unit of exchange. Our idea model becomes value as a unit of exchange. We shape these value units into a geometric system. That's our idea model. It becomes a system of spatial symbols. This circle of spatial symbols has its own changeless identity. It has a permanence in meaning in its totality. And it is a posited reflection of our own self-knowledge and self-identity. It is a positive reflection of our own self-identity, because we're changing the world through changing personality. So that's the theoretical look at the realm of positing and its constant, changeless identity. Then we move on to block 2, where we take a look at idea and the change within that identity. We begin with the immutable idea. The idea can change in content, but remain changeless in overall meaning, because the labor of idea making is ongoing. It never stops. The real is fluid. Experience becomes content as idea. And the empirical ideas equal experience shaped for memory as our idea model in the realm of positing. So, what is this idea as experience shaped for memory? Hocking says that the idea holds the flux of experience. We think within the concept of change. Our ideas of action have a nature of being non-static. They are dynamic. It is our communication of the ends of movement. It's an eschatological idea sign model. It's an eschatological idea sign model, as it is eschatological in nature. As eidos, it's simply a flash view of that dynamic system. We do actually construct a sign model, but it's just frozen in a flash. It's not static, it's dynamic. So it exists as a flash view. Therefore, Hocking says, immutable idea plus the flux of experience equals idea as ends of movement, as the eschatological ends of movement. We enjoin the separate eidos flashes into a continuum of movement. We have ideas gathered into a circle of ideas. And we interpret the succession of ideas. We interpret their interrelatedness, turning states into motions. The aspect of continuous change is added by the self based on the self's interpretation of the guiding idea that shapes this entire system of ideas, the guiding Christological idea that shapes the entire circle of ideas. That becomes a posited idealistic path. It becomes a posited idealistic path. So block 2, note 4, what is this idealistic path? Our idea model in the realm of positing is stored in memory in that space of state of mind. We dwell on it there in state of mind by retracing it over and over and over again, sometimes subconsciously, sometimes consciously. It is the ongoing creation of state of mind. It becomes the mind's explication of the real. And we clarify ideas by relating them to each other within this idea model. So this interrelatedness clarifies overall idea. But it exists as that retraced model in the state of mind that strengthens those signals of awe, reverence, and dependence. We need that retracing of the state of mind, that ongoing retracing of the state of mind, because it is that center that signals our centered self, the intellect, and the realm of positing. So that takes us on to block 3, the finitude of ideas. Hocking says that the infinite can never be fully captured by idea. Thought remains inconclusive. The God and world problem is always an unfinished problem. Religion is an anticipated attainment. Remember, it's an anticipation. It's an interest that encloses a mind full of interest. We enclose in that overall circle all of the ideas we have in an all-inclusive dialectical circle of ideas, an idea sign model. And then identification of interest. Our idea model possesses a genuine exterior. Remember, the realm of positing is the hinge moment between subjectivity and objectivity. The realm of positing is your hinge moment. It's described as interior externality. It's that window through which you view all of reality. It's the hinge between the subjective and the objective. So it has a genuine exterior. It's always ready for infinite recurrences in reality. It has an infinitude of application. And as religious, it is all comprehensive. But there's always some marginal interest, some beyond that we're not quite able to capture yet. There's always internal development in new relation also. We know that we're always going to discover the new within the realm of praxis. That always is a realization because we know that concepts cannot fully capture the absolute idea. So we get tremendous help since that lesson on structure that we looked at, the composite, now we get help about how state of mind gets reinforced, and through reinforcement it strengthens the signals of awe and reverence and dependence. But it's all about that strengthened state of mind, that creation of state of mind, that enclosed circle of content that is stored in state of mind that we retrace over and over and over again. That's the strength of this lesson, because we are always involved in that continuum of movement of this modeled succession of ideas. We shape it. We shape the IDOS ideas into a religious sign model that we posit as the real, and we have it stored in our motivational state of mind so that we can retrace it, and strengthen our own centered self, strengthen our own intellect, and strengthen our own realm of positing. And those three, centrality, sorting, and system, are the energy and power that we take into the dialectic of pugnacity, that dialectic of fighting the good fight, where we will then discover the new, that new feeling type of idea that we will re-internalize to further mature state of mind. But he gives us great additional information here, great additional information on the concept of meaning within that great composite structure we just discussed. Now we get a look at meaning within that structure, meaning within that sign model of value, that what he calls that overarching idealistic path that defines the interrelatedness of all of our signs, that idealistic path, that religious idealistic path, or we could say that Christological idealistic path that shapes all of our signs of our IDOS sign model. Yes, I think I'll call it the Christological idealistic path. That's the best term, I think. It's the Christological idealistic path, and it is stored in memory in what Hocking calls state of mind. You could call it heart if you wanted to use New Testament term. You could call it soul. But it's stored in memory, in your long-term memory, which Hocking calls state of mind, and then it is retraced. We are hardwired to it, and we retrace it again, and again at very low micro electrical impulses in the mind. But we retrace it all the time and strengthen our state of mind. And in that way we strengthen those signals that feed to centrality, sorting, and system. They feed to that centrality, sorting, and system with the signal of awe to centrality, the signal of dependence to intellect, and the signal of reverence to the realm of positing. And then we are strengthened for praxis, which is dialectic of fighting the good fight. So we get traditional, tremendous content from pages 77 to 100, a further explication of personalism from Hocking, addressing the concept of meaning within that composite structure we'd looked at in the prior lesson. So that's going to wrap up chapters 7 and 8. We'll pick up next time in chapter 9.